Hello, this is Brendan Ramsey from the Indiana Recruiting Guide, bringing you another episode of Indiana Recruiting Guide TV. This time we're going to be breaking down the Class 4A sectionals with just some general thoughts and predictions for each of the 16 4A sectionals. So we're going to go ahead and start off with Sectional 16 at Evansville North. Like usual in the past three videos, we're going to work backwards from 16 down to 1. So if there's a certain sectional that you would like to get some information on, you can scroll through the video as quickly as you want, or you can just listen to the whole thing. Should be about 15 minutes in length. So now on to Sectional 16 at Evansville North. Evansville Harrison faces the host, Evansville North. They both got a bye into the semifinals in the top half of the bracket. Obviously, Evansville Harrison is going to be the favorite here. They come in ranked 5th in the state with a 19-1 overall record. And then on the other side, you have Castle at 13-5, led by potential Indiana All-Star and Evansville recruit Blake Simmons. Those two teams are set up to potentially meet in the final, and while Castle only lost by 2 in the regular season to Harrison, I think that the Duncan trio at Harrison will lead them to a sectional title and possibly further in the tournament. Now Sectional 15 at Seymour, you have number 12 ranked Jeffersonville at 19-3. They got a very favorable draw with playing Floyd Central in the first round, and then Bedford North Lawrence will await the winner. On the bottom half of the bracket, you have New Albany, who opens against Seymour. Jennings County got the bye. The Jennings County team's been playing pretty well this season. They have some nice pieces. Senior point guard Bailey Sanders is a 4-year player. For them, a very, very high IQ type of point guard who could potentially lead them to a little run here. However, I think New Albany will get by them. And then I think that Jeffersonville will win that Seymour sectional, Sectional 15. Now, Sectional 14, which is at Columbus North. Columbus North is ranked 2nd in the state with a 21-1 record. They beat all 5 of their potential sectional foes during the regular season. But overall, there's some pretty good talent here. You have both Bloomington North and Bloomington South. South's down a little bit this year, but North, led by Grant Sims, Saiku Jallo, and Tyler Truesdale, very good backcourt with those three. Then you have Columbus East as well. I watched them just a couple weeks ago. They got beat up pretty good by Franklin Central, but Columbus East is a pretty solid team. Columbus North got the bye with all the talent and all that size that they have with Josh Spidell, Elliott Welmer, Torrey Jackson up front, and then Evan Henry and Sawyer Glick in the backcourt. I think Columbus North has a chance to make a run to Indianapolis, and they should at least get out of that sectional. Sectional 13 at Center Grove. Franklin Central and New Palestine both come in at 14-5. They're on opposite sides of the bracket. However, I wouldn't count out teams like Franklin or Center Grove, the host. Both of those teams have some nice pieces and have won some games this season. So I think that either one of them could potentially make a little bit of noise. However, I really like New Pal. Just watched them beat Mount Vernon last week. Michael Morris is having a very good year, and I think that they're going to make it through Sectional 13 at Center Grove. Now to Sectional 12, which is at Mooresville. Everyone here is pretty much right around 500, with no real clear favorite on paper. Terre Haute North and Martinsville will face off in the semifinals, potentially. On the bottom half of the bracket, Martinsville has the bye. Then on the top half, Terre Haute South got the bye. I think Mooresville will make it through to the finals in the top half. However, I'm going to take Martinsville, led by junior Troy Spears, to win that sectional. Now on to Sectional 11 at Decatur Central. This one features number 3 ranked Pike at 19-3. When they're playing well, Pike, in my opinion, is the best team in the state, with that backcourt of Tyshawn Johnson, Jordan Pickett, who's going to Loyola, and then Xavier Turner, who's going to Ball State. Also, Tyshawn Johnson just recently decided that he's going to go to prep school next year and reclassify to 2014, a good low to mid major point guard there. So you have 3 of the best guards in the state on the same team there at Pike. They also got a very favorable draw, playing Perry Meridian in the first round, and then Avon will await the winner with the bye. From the bottom half of the bracket, which has Ben Davis against Southport and Decatur Central against Brownsburg. Even though Brownsburg's been really hot of late, I'm not sure they're going to have enough to really get through and win this sectional. I think they could beat Decatur Central, even though Anthony Johnson has had a fabulous season for them. And probably as an Indiana All-Star candidate after the numbers that he's put up. That's going to be a really good first-round game. However, I think Ben Davis will be the team to make it to the finals, and I think that Pike will end up winning the sectional crown. Now to Sectional 10 at Warren Central. This is the best sectional in the state, in my opinion, right up there with Sectional 8. However, I do give the slight edge to Sectional 10 here at Warren Central. Only Lawrence Central at 9 and 10 is under 500. You have number 7 Arsenal Tech at 20 and 3, number 10 Cathedral, and number 14 Lawrence North at 15 and 5. Warren Central is obviously very good as well, led by Indiana recruit Devin Davis. However, I don't see them having enough to get by Arsenal Tech. And then with Cathedral losing a couple guys due to suspension recently, even though they beat La Lumiere just a week ago, I think that Lawrence North is probably going to get the best of them to set up Lawrence North versus Tech final, and I'm going to go with Trey Lyles and the Titans of Arsenal Tech to bring home the sectional title. Sectional 9 at Newcastle. You have a very good first-round matchup on the bottom half of the bracket between host Newcastle and Anderson, which comes in at 16 and 4, the best record in the sectional. You can't sleep on Pendleton Heights up top. They're very well coached. They have some nice pieces. However, Richmond, who has the bye, will await the winner of Pendleton Heights and Connersville. I think Richmond will end up winning that top half of the bracket. And then I'm going to go off the board just a little bit, pick a bit of an upset, and say that Newcastle is going to win this sectional on their home court. They've had a fairly mediocre season, at least by Newcastle standards, coming in at only 11 and 9. However, they have, as usual, they have very good perimeter shooting. When they get hot from three, they're very tough to beat. You have seniors Corey Ryan and Stephen Bennett. Also, sophomore Abe Haler is a player that I really like. Then down middle, in the middle, you have the Goosley kid, who gives them a nice post presence. So I think that they're going to end up surprising some people, and probably some people in Newcastle as well who might be a little down on this team. And I think the Trojans will win that sectional. Sectional 8 at Carmel. If Sectional 10 is the best sectional, this is probably 1A in most people's minds. It's a 7-team sectional. Noblesville got the lone bye on the top half of the bracket. Carmel definitely got the best draw as they open with Zionsville, and then will face Noblesville in the second round if they can get by Zionsville. Carmel is number 4 in the state at 17 and 2, and then you also have 2 of the top 10 teams in the state with number 6 Hamilton Southeastern and number 9 North Central. They're going to open up against each other in the first round for the second straight year, I believe. That's the second straight time they've had to do that. And even Zionsville, they're 10 and 9. Noblesville is 12 and 7. So pretty much everybody in this field is very tough and capable of making a run. But I just think with probable Mr. Basketball winner Zach Irvin, who's heading to Michigan, I think Hamilton Southeastern is just a little too good and too talented, and they will end up winning that Sectional 8 at Carmel. Sectional 7 at Lafayette Jefferson. Number 8 Kokomo comes in with an 18 and 2 record. They also got the better side of the bracket with just Marion and Lafayette Jeff to go through, while McCutcheon on the bottom half at 13 and 7 will have to play Harrison of West Lafayette in the first round, and then Logansport in the second round. Both pretty solid teams capable of beating McCutcheon. However, I think the McCutcheon will get through. Like I said, they have that 13 and 7 record, and also they only lost to Kokomo by 1 in the regular season. So that final, or potential final, I should say, could be very interesting between those two teams. And I will end up, though, picking Kokomo to win the Lafayette Jefferson sectional. Sectional 6 at Huntington North. Lots of teams will compete for the title here. You have number 14 Jay County at 19 and 2. Their only 2 losses this season were at the Hall of Fame Classic to Cathedral and Fort Wayne Northrop. So other than that, they've gone unblemished. Obviously, those are 2 very tough teams that a lot of teams in the state would lose to, so that's nothing for Jay County certainly to be ashamed of. They have a potential semifinal matchup after the bye. They will await the winner of Homestead and Huntington North. I like the Huntington North team, but I think Homestead will get the better of them here. They're 16 and 5. On the top half of the bracket, you have New Haven with the bye. They're 15 and 5. And I actually think that New Haven, led by Notre Dame recruit VJ Beecham, they also have the big man, Steve, I forget his last name, I apologize, but so whatever it is. He's real big, 6'9", 6'10" guy. Pretty talented as well for his size, and I think that he and VJ will lead New Haven to a sectional crown. Now on to sectional 5, at Fort Wayne Carroll. Here you have another overall very tough sectional with Columbia City at 18-3, Fort Wayne North at 13-5, Fort Wayne Northrop at 16-6, and also DeKalb at 14-7. Columbia City got on the better half of the bracket, but I think that Northrop, led by the Scott twins, Bryson going to Purdue, and then Brenton Scott going to Indiana State, I think that with those two in the backcourt, Northrop will end up winning that sectional, probably over Columbia City in the final. Then sectional 4, which is up at Elkhart Central. Concord comes in as the favorite on paper, certainly. They're ranked number 11 in the state with an 18-1 record. They also got the bye in the top half of the bracket, so that certainly does not hurt them. The bottom half of the bracket is pretty balanced. I think that Northridge will end up getting through. They have the bye. We'll await the winner of Goshen and Elkhart Memorial, which are both pretty solid teams. And I'm going to go ahead and go with Ball State recruit Franco House and Concord to pick up a couple wins and capture that sectional crown. Now on to sectional 3 at Mishawaka. This is all the South Bend teams for the most part. You have South Bend Adams, which comes in ranked 14th in the state at 17-2, and also Penn at 15-4. It's set up that they're on opposite sides of the bracket, could potentially meet in the finals. However, you have South Bend Riley at 12-8 and South Bend Clay at 13-8, which are both, Riley's 12-7, Clay is 13-8. Both very solid teams. However, they play each other in the first round, so only one will advance to play Penn in the semifinals. Also, don't sleep on it, South Bend Washington. They're 9-10, but capable of making a run here. And I'm going to go with South Bend Adams to knock off Penn in the sectional final. Sectional 2 at Michigan City. Maryville and Valpo each come in at 16-3, while Chesterton is 11-8. They're all ranked pretty evenly by the Sagarin ratings, so it's pretty tough to pick a winner here in this 8-team sectional at Michigan City. During the regular season, Maryville and Valpo split with each other and ended up going 11-1 against sectional opponents, each of them, and their lone loss coming to each other, as I mentioned. Chesterton was only 7-5 against those opponents, but 4 of those losses came to Maryville and Valpo, and they were all very close, I believe, within 10 points. And I actually see Chesterton making a run to the finals. That they'll get by Valpo in the semis, but eventually lose to Maryville in the sectional final, and Maryville will get the title. And now the final section will break down sectional 1 at Gary West side. Number 1, Munster, comes in undefeated at 21-0. Obviously, they should be the clear favorite on paper, but they still have to get by East Chicago Central, led by Hiram Edwards, and also Gary Westside, the host, which is 10-7, pretty solid team. On the other half of the bracket, you have talented Lake Central with Tyler Weidman, Mike McClusick, and Ty Wilburn at guard. They're 12-7, definitely capable of knocking off Munster. However, they lost by 10 during the regular season, and I think that they will probably lose to Munster again. They're just a little too good, and I look for them to stay undefeated through at least the sectional. So there you have it for the Class 4A sectionals. Lots of good draws throughout these 16 sectionals, lots of good teams, lots of good first-round matchups, and overall just very balanced sectionals with a lot of teams that will be competing for titles. I think that probably my pick to win the state title at this point is going to be Pike. Even after losing Jamie Rutherford, who was recently dismissed from the team, I know that their size is a bit of an issue, especially when they come up against a team like Arsenal Tech, somebody with a dominant big man like Trey Lyles. However, I just think their guards are too good, and I probably would say that they're my favorite for the state title right now. I'm not ready to make those picks yet. Those will be coming out in a few days, where I'll pick everything through the state titles for each class. But I would say that on paper, my favorite for Class 4A will be Pike. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, you can email me or tweet me. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, subscribe to IRGTV here on YouTube. All of the information for contacting me will be in the description box. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for a couple days. I'm not sure if I'll make a video about it. I'm going to be out of town for the next week. However, just check the website, and I'll be posting things on Twitter so you can stay up to date on more sectional coverage, including once games start. I'll be covering. I won't be able to be at any sectional games because I'll be down in Florida. However, I will have them covered through some people back here in Indiana. So make sure you stay tuned to the Indiana Recruiting Guide as we get into the best time of Indiana basketball, which is obviously sectional time in the state tournament. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys later.